Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi!
Hello friends, it's been a while and I'm sorry to have been away, but I'm back again today with another video. And this time it's a return to the popular Dirty Dozen monthly series. This is my most popular video series and it always gets a lot of new viewers, so I'll briefly explain what this video is all about. I'm very lucky to be part of the Pants of Horus guild, currently ranked number 2 in the game. Every month, I'm lucky enough to have a group of experienced players within our guild lend me their insights and make a tier list for all of the characters in the game. These videos are an opportunity for me to distill all of the hours of work and analysis that is happening behind the scenes into an easy to understand and digest infographic. I've done this month's infographic a little bit earlier than I'd originally planned, largely because so many of you messaged me and wanted to know how things changed with the summoner nerfs. As a result, this month's analysis does not include the newest character in the game, Ulf Frostfang. You'll see the contributors' names at the bottom of the infographic, and I'd like to give them all a shout out for the continued time and effort that they lend me. Hollow, Magnus, iGap, 3Bad, Archon, Probase, and Dixie, thank you so much for your time. I couldn't do this without you. This video series has been so popular that Snowprint have also kindly agreed to support some character giveaways and character shards. Last month we gave away Eldryon, and this month we'll be giving away Marneus Calgar shards. If you're just here for the giveaway, feel free to skip ahead to the end of the video to find out how to enter that competition. I'll include a timestamp in the video description below in case you want to skip ahead. The winner of the Eldryon giveaway last month never actually stepped forward to claim his prize of 150 Eldryon shards, so I'll be rolling that forward to this month's giveaway as an opportunity for you guys to win even more. With that out of the way, let's move on to the Dirty Dozen infographic. You'll see the summary in front of you with this month's top 12. Before we break those characters down individually, a quick note on scoring. The 5 metrics that we're using in the Dirty Dozen series is a character's performance in Arena and each of the 3 guild raids. And then we look at a final score for how many points each character can earn in the legendary events. I think that the legendary event metric is useful because that is currently the only way of unlocking the rarest and most premium characters in the game. I want to explain the legendary event scoring a little bit further. Rather than the score reflecting how good or how powerful the character is, it just shows how many points they can earn for each event. For example, you can see that Calandus is the runaway leader in legendary events, having lots of unique traits and characteristics that allow him to score highly across the board. Let's move on to start dissecting each of the character choices in the Dirty Dozen infographic. In first place remains Eldryon. LD has a passive ability called Doom, which is far and away the strongest ability in the game. It adds a static amount of damage to every hit that a character makes, and is the single strongest character in the guild raids. He's literally meta-defining at the moment, and if you have a chance to build him or farm him, I would take every chance you can get. In position 2 is another Eldari, Moghan Ra. Ra is one of the legendary unlocks for the faction, and does very well against guild raid bosses. He is fragile, but is probably the highest single damage dealer in the game, and his passive synergizes very well with the other Eldari. Marneus Calgar is this month's giveaway, and he moves up to position 3 to take the vacated space from Yarrick's nerf. Calgar has a powerful active and passive ability that allows him to do well in both arena and guild raid modes. The raid meta at the moment seems to be all about multi-attacking, and therefore characters like Calgar who provide a damage aura do well there. Next up we have another Eldari, Athena. There isn't a huge amount else that's new here. The Eldari have established themselves as the powerhouse faction for guild raids, and Athena continues that trend. Her passive works well independently, but particularly well when used in conjunction with the other Eldari. In position 5, we find Commissar Yarrick. He's dropped down a few places following his recent nerf, and was a subject of some division amongst the collaborators. Some felt that he could still be used at quite a high level in guild raids, but others were fairly scathing in their assessments. He's averaged out in the position you'll find him, but I'll admit that I'm personally finding him on the far weaker side of things following his nerf. Next up we have On-Shi, the newest Tau character and the first legendary release for the faction. On-Shi's active allows him to recharge the active of another character, which has a lot of potential for some interesting stuff in different game modes. On-Shi's still relatively new and I think has a lot of untapped and unexplored potential, so it'll be interesting to see where he lands in the coming months as more testing occurs. We find Castellan Creed next, who's a reasonable choice across the board, but suffers in scoring due to his poor usability in legendary events. I think, and others agree, that he's probably a better standalone character at the moment than Yarrick, following the nerfs that have taken place. Revas is ranked 8 and is a versatile and survivable damage dealer across multiple game modes. She's unlikely to ever make the top 5 for any particular guild raid boss or game mode, but is certainly above average and a versatile choice who is cheap and to gear up. In position 9 we find Bellator. Bellator is probably the best summoner in the game following the recent nerfs, and excels with the top characters on this list in terms of maximizing the benefit of damage auras. I would strongly recommend building him up. Next up we have Shozail, who keeps his spot in the Dirty Dozen by providing consistent high damage and high pierce. He suffers a little bit against the Orc boss due to his poor movement and summon based kit, but is still good enough to remain on this top 12 list. Celestine is in rank 11 and provides unique tanking capability with her passive ability that allows her to excel in player versus player modes. Finally, Calandis also does well in player versus player modes and is by some margin the best character in the game to score points with in the legendary events. That's the summary of the Dirty Dozen this month. A lot of you had asked me to include the list beyond the top 12, so for your perusal is the rankings extended to rank 20. I'll leave it on the screen for you to have a look at, but as always my infographics are linked on the Tacticus wiki, and I'll have a link to that in the description below. A quick word next on the giveaway. This will follow the same format as last month, and I've brought along Mrs. Nandi, whose voice you might recognise for the introduction to my videos, to announce how things will be done.
Hello Nandi's viewers. All you have to do to enter is leave a comment in the video below to be eligible. He will draw the random winners in about 72 hours from video release and inform you of how to claim your prize by replying to your original comment, so please remember to check back. The prizes on offer this month are 250 Calgar shards for first place, and 50 Calgar shards for each second and third place. There is also the rollover of 150 Eldryon shards to give away that was unclaimed from last month.
Thanks, Mrs. Nandi. This has been a longer video than I'd planned to do, so I will end this on 2 notes. Firstly, if you enjoy what I do and the content that I make, I'd really appreciate if you could consider entering my Refer a Friend code that you can see on the screen. It really goes a long way in supporting me and allowing me to continue to make this sort of content. But if you can't do that or you've already used your code, don't worry, just the fact that you're here and watching this stuff helps me out and really makes me really happy as well. Secondly, for those of you who are looking to join a new guild, I'd really encourage you to check out the Pants of Horus cluster. We're a fun and friendly group of players who range from casual to competitive, and we're always looking for new recruits. We share roster advice, raid strategy videos, infographics, and more. At the moment we have 12 guilds in the top 50 of the game, which is almost a quarter of the top guilds in the game. If you're interested in making that step up and really becoming more successful, please reach out to us via the Discord link below and feel free to tag me when you arrive and I'll come along and say hello. Thanks always for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you have a lovely day. Thanks so much, bye.
Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi!